I recently did a video on the secret sauce behind successful grant applications. I outlined how a grant application must align with three things: your strategic objectives, the details in the call document, and the underlying agenda. I will leave a link to that video in the description below. However, in this video, I want to talk about why even a well-written and well-aligned application may not be successful. Every evaluation process has a scoring metrics. Initially, after the closing date, there's a screening process where officials go through each application and ensure all the criteria in the call document is met. So, have all the appendices been submitted? Has everything that needs a signature been properly signed? Have all the questions asked been answered? The officials ensure that all the boxes are ticked. They do not, however, make any value assessment on the quality of the applications. Screening effectively screens out applications that do not meet all the criteria. The quality assessment is usually done by an expert panel. So the first thing to learn is that if you submit an application that does not meet all the criteria, your application will be screened out at the first stage and will never even get to see the expert panel. However, it is at the expert panel stage that the decisions are made. If you accept that nearly all grants are oversubscribed, that even with screening there are more aligned applications than grants, how do you decide who gets funding? Or let me put it more simply, what do you do with 40 really good applications, ideally all of which you would like to fund if the budget allowed, but you can only fund 15 of them? Now, the numbers may change, but this is the dilemma faced by nearly all expert panels. Now, I've sat on many assessment panels for many different things, and I've learned that once you get to a panel or a committee, the final outcomes are entirely subjective. It comes down to what criteria the panel finally agreed between themselves. Now, there are criteria in the scoring, but in truth, most applications that get past screening already have met most of the criteria, and the panel is judging the quality of each proposal, which of course is a completely subjective process. So let's take a few hypothetical examples. You have two great applications, but you can only give one grant. Let's take an EU grant, for example. One project comes from an objective 1 area, an area disadvantage, and the other doesn't. The objective 1 project probably wins, although the quality of the two projects may be deemed similar. One may be from a consortium that have been funded before, and the other is from a new consortium. Now, one panel might say, let's give the new consortium a try, and a chance to deliver something new and innovative. Another panel may take the opposite view, and see the new consortium as a risk, and give the decision to the tried, tested, and safer options. The truth is that even the panel members themselves will not know in advance which decisions they will ultimately make. These final decisions are ultimately the outcome of negotiations between the human beings sitting around that table on that day. A different group of people sitting on the same table may have given the decision the other way. Now, organizations will put systems in place to limit the variance here, but in the end of the day, when you have one grant and 4 great projects, the decision-making process eventually becomes brutal and subjective. A grant writer can write your project to its best light. We can tick all the boxes and get your proposal past screening and to the panel. But once there is no way of knowing in advance what the outcome will be. Now, I'm telling you all of this to try and set realistic expectations. By all means, go for grants, but be realistic about the process. In the previous video, I talked about the EU LIFE programme. It is estimated that the win rate is about 15%. Thus, of all the fully written and submitted applications, only about 85% do not get funded. Thus, a well-written and well-aligned application may not be successful for a myriad of reasons many of which you have no control over. However, only a well-written and well-aligned application will be in consideration at the final stage. I spend a lot of time telling clients not to make applications because I know the projects will not cut it, and I'm increasingly brutal in the applications that we take on. Not because I don't want the business, but because these are long, detailed, and time-consuming processes that need to have a reasonable chance to justify the resources being expended on them. Now, if you ever want to chat about a grant or want to get ongoing support, my details are on the screen. If you have found this video helpful, then maybe you give it a like, and the best of luck in all your endeavours.